Welcome to the Bay. Today, we've got a real clash of titans for you. In one corner, you've got the brand new challenger, the RTX 5070 Ti. It's packing all the latest tech and comes in at a really tempting price. And in the other corner, the reigning champ from last gen, the absolute beast that is the RTX 480. So the big question is, should you go with the new mid-range king or the old high-end champion? Let's figure it out.
All right, so let's break this down. This is a classic dilemma for anyone building a PC, right? Do you bet on what's next, the shiny new architecture and all the cool features of the 5070 Ti? Or do you stick with what's tried and true, the raw, brute force of the RTX 4080, a card that's already proven itself? It's like a title fight for sure. And we're going to see which one of these GPUs really earns that spot inside your PC.
Look, we're not going to bury the lead here and make you wait till the end. Let's just get right to it. Here's the quick and dirty verdict. For almost every gamer out there, the RTX 5070 Ti is the smart move. It's the clear value winner. You're getting the latest and greatest tech for way, way less cash. Now, don't get me wrong, the 4080 is still an absolute monster. But honestly, it only really makes sense if you're a professional with some very specific needs, or, and this is a big or, you somehow find one with a crazy, massive discount. Okay, so now that you know where we're headed, let's show you our work. How did we land on that verdict? We're going to start with the one thing that matters most to all of us gamers, raw performance. Let's talk frames per second. All right, check this out. What's absolutely wild here is just how neck and neck these two cards are. We're looking at data straight from bestgpusforgaming.com, and across a bunch of really demanding modern games at 1440p, well, the RTX 4080 is barely ahead. We're talking just a handful of frames. I mean, a tiny 1 to 3% lead. Look at Cyberpunk. That's a 3-frame difference. And Hogwarts Legacy? It's literally a single frame. In the real world, that's what we call a tie, a dead heat. And you know what? The guys who ran these tests summed it up perfectly. I mean, a tiny percentage on a spreadsheet, that's one thing. But when you're actually playing the game, with your hands on the keyboard and mouse, you would be absolutely hard-pressed to tell the difference. No way. The feel, the smoothness, it's going to be pretty much identical. All right, so if performance is basically a tie, what's the tiebreaker? Well, the decision has to come down to other things, right? So let's talk about features. We're going to pop the hood and look at the actual tech that's powering these cards. Okay, the 5070 Ti is all about the future. This thing is the forward-looking pick, no question. It's running on the brand spanking new Blackwell architecture. And what does that mean for you? Well, it means you get the next generation of goodies like DLSS 4, that's NVIDIA's latest AI magic for boosting frames. But that's not all. It's also got that super fast GDDR7 memory and modern ports like DisplayPort 2.1b, which is going to be crucial for the insane high refresh rate monitors that are just around the corner. This card is built for what's coming next. And then you've got the 4080. This is the old guard, the proven workhorse. It's built on the Ada Lovelace architecture, which is super mature at this point. What that means is you get rock-solid, stable drivers for, like, everything. Tons of games, and especially those pro creator apps. Yeah, it's using the older DLSS 3, but its raw horsepower can still give it a slight edge in some really specific situations, like heavy-duty 4K gaming or intense workloads like 3D rendering. It's a known quantity. It's reliable. It's still a beast. So let's recap. Performance? A tie. Features? It's a battle of the new hotness versus the proven veteran. So what breaks the tie? Where does this fight get decided? Well, it's right here. Let's talk about the money. Let's talk value, because this is where one card just completely blows the other one out of the water. $450. Let that number sink in for a second. That's roughly the price difference between these two cards at launch. Think about what that means. For basically the exact same gaming performance, you're saving enough cash to grab a new high-end CPU, or a crazy fast NVMe drive, or just, a mountain of new games. Honestly, this number, it's the most important piece of the puzzle in this whole showdown. So how do we really nail down that value difference with data? Well, we use a really simple but super powerful metric called FPS per dollar. And it's exactly what it sounds like. We just take the average frames per second and divide it by the price. It tells you exactly how much bang you're getting for your buck. Simple, right? Higher number is better. And boom, here it is. This is that knockout punch right here on a bar chart. The RTX 5070 Ti is giving you 0.19 frames for every dollar you spend. The 4080, only 0.12. I mean, it is not even a contest. This chart makes it crystal clear. The 5070 Ti just has a massive, monumental advantage when it comes to value. You're getting so much more performance for your hard-earned money.
So yeah, there's really no other way to say it. When you look at the numbers, there is an absolutely clear winner on value. If you're putting together a new PC, the RTX 5070 Ti is just the smarter choice, both for your wallet and for future-proofing your tech.
Okay, so we've looked at performance, features, and value. Let's pull it all together now and give you some straight-up, actionable advice. We're going to help you figure out which of these cards is the perfect fit for your specific build, so you can buy with confidence. So let's figure out which camp you fall into. First up, are you the value gamer? If so, this is easy, like super easy. Get the RTX 5070 Ti. It's an absolute no-brainer. Okay, what if you're a creator? Someone who spends all day in professional apps, where that little bit of extra compute power and those super stable drivers might make a difference. Well, then a heavily discounted RTX 4080 could actually be the right call for you. And finally, what if you're upgrading from something like a 30 series card? Again, the 5070 Ti is your ticket. It's a huge, huge jump in performance and features, and you don't have to swallow that eye-watering launch price the 4080 has. And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a market that moves this fast, what does future-proofing even mean anymore? Is it about just grabbing the most powerful thing you can possibly afford right now, like the 4080 was in its day? Or is it about making the smartest value play, buying the card that gets you access to all the newest tech without breaking the bank, which is exactly what the 5070 Ti represents? It's a really interesting question to think about for your next build. Hey, if you want to get really granular and pour over all the data yourself, or maybe see how these GPUs compare to other cards, all the info we use today came from the amazing in-depth work over at bestgpusforgaming.com. Seriously, go check them out for more. And with that, keep it cool and keep building.